As soon as you buy into the autism diagnosis, you stop looking for the root cause, which is actually overactive mast cells. The mast cells are the cause of all the symptoms. You could look up in the scientific studies and it will show you right there. But the question is, what's causing the mast cells to be overreactive, okay? Your mast cells are your main immune cell that tell all the other immune cells what to do. They send out inflammatory molecules that influence the behavior in the neurological system, which influences the child's behavior, okay? So what are the main things that affect the mast cells? Number one, food, okay? Food, specifically particles and proteins that leak through the leaky gut into the bloodstream and cross the brain-blood barrier, okay? Things like gluten, things like egg proteins, things like milk proteins, things like proteins in nuts and seeds, okay? These are the main triggers, okay? And even foods like meat can cause behavioral issues because they're not being broken down. They're causing a release of endotoxins within the body. These are leaking into the bloodstream and causing neurological inflammation. So the number one cause is going to be food, okay? That's the thing that can make the immediate changes. Now, number two cause, which is probably the most important that everybody's disregarding, is environmental toxins. And these are typically mold toxins. This could be chemicals you're using in your house. This could be things like that, but primarily mold toxins, okay? What happens is the child's neurological system is so sensitive that they overproduce antibodies to the mold toxins. And then what happens is the mold toxins are inhaled, and then there's an inflammation response in the neurological system, which then causes the behavioral symptoms, the autism symptoms. So if you have a child with autism, you have to test for mycotoxin sensitivity. I know your house doesn't have mold, blah, 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 but every house has mold, okay? It's not about if your house has mold, it's about if you're sensitive to it or not. That's the actual question, okay? So number one, again, was the diet. You have to remove the dietary irritants. Number two, the environmental irritants. You got to make sure the child's in nearly a pristine environment. You can't be in a home that's 50 years old and expect to heal from autism. Okay, number three is hyperstimulation, okay? If you're still allowing the child to engage in activities that overly stimulate them, you have to be very, very aware of the things that stimulate them and make their stimming, the other things, much worse, okay? You got to get them to do some sound therapy, get some headphones on them, put on some binaural beats to calm down their nervous system. Tell them to close their eyes, put their hands on their laps. Do that twice a day for 30 minutes. Watch your child change. So the main things you got to look out for are the things that affect the mast cells, okay? The hyperstimulation causes the mast cells to release inflammatory molecules like histamine. The environment, okay, that can cause the mast cells to constantly release inflammatory molecules, the cytokines, the histamine, the other inflammatory molecules. And then the foods, of course. These food sensitivities can trigger immediate reactions right away. So if you're dealing with autism, guess what? You're dealing with a mast cell issue. And if you want to be able to overcome it and improve the quality of life for your child, you have to treat this like a mast cell activation issue. You can't just simply treat it like quote-unquote autism. As soon as you buy into the diagnosis, you lost.